I did not expect it to blow up at all. When I wrote it, it was it was just a nice. It was like my first time really talking about how I was feeling. And so the main concept is obviously the album is called I'm Fine. The title track is called I'm Fine. So I want to put the focus on that specific song because I went through a lot of anxiety and I had a lot of stress, and I went through these panic attacks, and it was a very, very, very dark period of my life.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. How are you today?
I'm good.
So before we start, I'm actually a bit curious. Should I call you Max, Maxi, or Maximilian?
That's entirely up to you.
Okay, I will call you Max. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to this interview with you. I'm so honored to do this interview.
Thank
Also, congratulations on your new album. I'm fine. It was
thank you.
so good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so before we talk about your new album, I want to start from beginning. How did your music journey first begin?
Well, I mean, I always wanted
Yeah.
to be a musician, and I loved singing as a child. Growing up, I was just making a lot of noise, but I think my parents, they kind of saw that I had like this. For when music came on, I would like try to replicate it. I didn't know how to speak English, but I would try to sing something without even knowing the language. So I was just blah 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 blah, like mumbling when I did it. But yeah, after school, after boarding school, I came back and I had my graduation. I just decided instead of like continuing my education, I was not a very strong school minded child. So I decided to, when I turned 18, I just said to my parents, like, I'm not gonna do this. I want to do music, so I'm just gonna focus on that. And then I dropped out, and then I just went to the studio every single day. And that's sort of how I came into the music industry. So when my friends, they graduated from university, it's called a gymnasium, or like college, they uh, they wanted to have a year break. But when they graduated, I traveled to Los Angeles, and then I started making, then my career was sort of like started. It had started. And that was basically how it came to be. And now we're here.
Okay, is there anything like inspired you to become a singer?
I mean, yeah, definitely other artists. When I was a kid, uh, when Michael Jackson died in 2009, my sort of dream of becoming like a pop singer started. Because I saw, as a kid, I thought I wanted to be the sparkly jackets and stuff like that. But then, yeah, obviously I grew with the task, and now I just really enjoy making lyrics and writing, and I think it's fun to create something out of nothing. An idea becomes something that someone else can use mentally. I really think that's special.
So let's talk about your first single. Can you tell us the story behind your first single and when did you start writing your own songs?
Well, my first single has to be Higher, which came out in 2017. I had just gotten home from, I think it was boarding school. I came home and then I started writing, Uh, I was a very bad writer back then, but I had some help with the guy I worked closely with, Marco. And yeah, it was basically about, knowing a relationship is going to end, but wanting to be there until the very end of it. Very sad, very melancholic. I was a very, very sad as a teenager. I think learning about love and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like from your song, what is your creative process like when you writing songs? Is there any unique creative process behind it?
I mean, when I write music, what I tend to do is I go into the studio, and I start up as like a vibe, maybe like some chords, or we do like a beat or something like that, and then I, just go kind of in the back and let the producer just sit and do tweak some stuff and like create a little more of an atmosphere. And then I either sit down or I jump around like a mountain goat, and I make these melodies, and then I have my phone on me, and then okay, I like this melody, and I record that melody, and then I have like 30 melodies from that one session, and then start going on the mic trying to record some stuff, and then if I like what I'm hearing, then I sit down and then I start writing. In my creative process, that's basically how like the most to get started with a song. Sometimes the song starts at home, and then before I go to bed, I have this melody in my head, and then I go into the studio and make it the day after.
Okay, so you experienced a difficult moments during your teenager years, and how did those experience shape your music?
I mean, I think it's kind of like you live and you learn. You learn from your mistakes, and I was growing up. I was, like I said, not a very strong school child, and that resulted in me not really wanting to go to school, and I would stay away from classes, and I would just instead of going to school, I would sit down at like a computer cafe and play video games, and I was just that was kind of like my thing back then. But I think growing up, Beautiful Scars, obviously, I wrote about my difficult times as a kid. And I think it's given me like a strong backbone, you know what I mean? Like I know where I don't want to go. You know what I mean? So writing music today, I think the way it shaped my music was probably, instead of just writing about stuff that didn't really matter, I like writing about experiences and personal relationships and stuff that's like that means something to me, instead of just like writing a song to write a song, if you could say it like
Okay, so your songs "Beautiful Scars" became a huge success in Asia, and I really love that songs. So,
that.
like, how did you handle the expectation and pressure after "Beautiful Scars" got hit?
I mean, I did not expect it to blow up at all. When I wrote it, it was it was just a nice. It was like my first time really talking about how I was feeling, and because I'm very bad at talking about how I'm feeling in person, but when I'm writing about it, I can put every single sentence down the way I want it, and I can re I can keep coming back to it before I release it if I'm not happy with what I'm saying. Uh, but the fact that it got so much attention, and people really resonated with it, really it gave me like we have this saying. I don't know if it's also a saying in England in English, but like blood on my teeth, blood on my tooth. I want to keep going. This is what I like. I want to create songs and lyrics that I can help other people with the music, if that makes sense.
Okay, so like what I said in beginning, you recently released the album called "I'm Fine." Can
Yeah.
you explain the main concept behind the album?
So the main concept is obviously the album is called "I'm Fine." The title track is called "I'm Fine." So I want to put the focus on that specific song, because I went through a lot of anxiety and I had a lot of stress, and I went through these panic attacks, and it was a very, very, very dark period of my life, because I had gone through so many different things with the relationships going wrong, and a lot of personal stuff, and then too much work, too much noise, that I forgot to take a breather every now and then. And obviously now, which is kind of ironic, I am fine. Um, but it resulted with me going to my doctor and like having them check me, because I was afraid of me, it was something wrong. And they just explained to me I was stressed. And that told me, okay, it was a good idea to let someone else know that I was feeling like this, because then I got the caring hand on my shoulder, like, take it easy, it's okay, nothing bad is gonna happen. And then I had the idea, I wanted to, write a song where I was explaining and really portraying how it feels to have a panic attack, because it comes like this, and we could be having this conversation right now, and then suddenly I would like cramp up and be afraid of something that's not there. So the entirety of the album starts out with, it's a lot of these different stories and emotions. Obviously, there's a lot of love songs, but there's also songs for my friends and stuff like that. But it culminates in the last song where all of these different things creates this anxiety that you go through in the end. So that's basically like my take on it.
So several singles from the album have already been released, such as Day and Night, Paramore, She's Missing, and Best of Me. Like, how do you decide which songs become singles?
I think that's like a gut feeling. Because it obviously it's also it's like a pop album. I really wanted to make pop music, and I thought, okay, let me see how pop I can go. So we started with Best of Me, um, which is proper.
Mm.
I'm in love, like that kind of thing. So I think it was just like I tend to always look at the seasons, like where are we in during the year, especially in Denmark, because you can experience the same, you can experience all 4 seasons in one day. So basically, if it's cold outside and it's dark outside, I want to release something that's heavy and that's like, like it builds up a lot of dramatic effect. But if it's sunny outside, I want to release Day and Night, which feels like you're taking a car ride throughout in the sun. So I think that's kind of like a feeling thing. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about the music video. What is your music video production process? Like, for example, like I'm Fine. Music video was filmed in one take. Like,
Yeah.
what's the
So
story behind that? Mhm.
so like what we wanted to do. So this video you see this platform with the big light, and around me there's all these different props. There's like some flowers, there's a phone, there's a chair and stuff like that. That's because for we made some other videos as well. So in the other videos I use each maybe one prop from there and one prop there, and then you know I'm Fine video is all these, like we talked about before, the culmination of the album. So in I'm Fine video, I'm sitting in a chair, tied to a chair, surrounded by all these different things that had been messing with my mind that creates this anxiety. So I'm like, I can't get away from it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I wanted the meaning to be. So you can visually see that I'm actually going crazy. I'm like, help me. So yeah. And then it zooms slowly out, and then you see the entire like the setting thing is yeah. That's the idea.
Okay, so like, is there any comment that makes you warm about the album?
So far, I think people are commenting that what is very nice is that actually I can see people are listening to the album in its total. So it's not just I'm Fine, which because I'm pushing I'm Fine obviously right now, but I'm gonna be pushing all of the songs in different phases. But to see that people are actually listening through it really warms my heart. And people are commenting and saying, obviously there are ballads like the "Where Do We Go From This" song is very like that kind of, but
Mhm.
it's and then you have a song as "Worth the Wait," which is like totally different direction. But I like that people are taking it in as good as they are, which is it warms my heart.
So after like people hearing all the songs of your album, what do you hope listeners feel after hearing the full album, the full songs in the album?
Well, what I hope they take away, especially from, I'm Fine, is that it's important to remember to talk about when if you're feeling like everything's too much, also with good life, it's it's important to, grab your closest friend or your family member or someone and just tell them, I'm stressed. I'm anxious. I'm feeling this. I don't know what's going on because you will not know what's going on. So you need someone else to look at you and say, "Okay, I can see that you seem a little jumpy, like that kind of thing. So maybe take a break. Or take like let's go to the forest, something like that." I've started just sitting in the park because I read an article that it's supposed to like decrease like your stress levels by half. So just 15 minutes in nature will slowly just make you feel more relaxed. But yeah, I think it's that's my main wish is that people talk to each other, explain.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the last question.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for sharing your stories behind this album. And
Thank
it
you.
was so nice
Those
talking
great
to you.
questions. You too.
So once again, congratulations for your new album. I'm fine, and I hope you will get success and more big for this album.
So much. It's very sweet.